The one who comes in peace is always welcome. The one who comes to teach is always welcome. The one who comes to learn is especially always welcome. Positive and creation energy to all the students of the Organic African Paradigm teachings, Africans globally, wherever you find yourself. Tai and Ma'at to all of you. Ankh and Ubuntu to all of you. Madi and Sia to all of you. Menkutet, Kemati, Sekem, and Sek Uten to all of you. I would like to welcome you to our lesson 360 Dimensions of African Soul, African Intelligence, and African Science. So, the three schools of thought: African Soul, African Intelligence, and African Science. This channel here, we focus on the African perspective. There are a lot of channels on the internet for various that cater to various audiences, that cater to various activities. This channel caters to the African perspective, to teach Africans the ancient knowledge or the ancient schools that existed before they were forgotten or before the Africans discarded them. So I want to welcome all of you. If you are watching, say hi. I like to I like to read the comments that people put in under the video. Sometimes they're interesting. Regardless, I do read the comments and that come under the video. Also, those of you who have been bringing a lot of new subscribers to this channel, good work. You are doing your part, and that is appreciated, because I noticed the last time I mentioned it, suddenly people started to do it, and I started to see the subscribers coming to the channel. And then we hope to make the channel grow. I've been watching a lot of videos on YouTube. There's specifically one individual video who caught my attention. His name is Panji. Panji is this brother from Ghana, and he was dropping knowledge on a podcast somewhere, and I was just I was absorbed to it. He went to town. He said what he had to say, and he didn't hold back. He was not shy about what he had to tell the people. He said he doesn't believe in religion. He said human beings are, they're close. Pigs are the closer relative to human beings. He said, man, he said a lot of things. I watched part 1 and part 2 of the podcast, and man, I was blown away. But today, I'm going to be teaching you. We're going to be here for a while. So all of you who are going to be attending, just know this is a long lecture. I'm going to explain to you who Asar is, who Anupu is. Anupu is. I'm going to explain Anupu to you. I'm going to explain what's the next sovereign. Asar, Anupu, and Nefertem. So we are going to be here for a while. I have a long lecture. I think this lecture could take up to, like the amount of, not the amount of knowledge preparation could take up to 3 hours, right? But I'm not going to do 3 hours on this channel. No way. The most I can say, we are going to do about an hour and a half. So strap yourself in, pay attention, and you are going to learn today. You are definitely going to learn. So let's go to our book. You all remember the book, the African Dictionary, the Dictionary of African Mythology by Harold Schwartz. This book is where I get all the juice from. Now, I'm going to pick a chapter today. We are going to talk about the dog, because all of you know Anubis. You've heard the Greeks, the way the Greeks say it is Anubis. The way the Africans say is Anupu, Anupu, right? Anupu or Anupu, right? So that's the difference. Anubis is a fusion of Bucyrus and Anu. Okay, Anu and Bucyrus combined form Anubis. However, When you take Busiris or Bu and you separate him, and you take Anupu and you put him separate, you get two different deities. But when you join these deities together, you get one deity. Is that you, Menla? Oh, positive and creation energy to you, my beloved Menla. It is good to have you. You are welcome. Oh, positive and creation energy to you. There's my beloved Menla. All right. Let's continue here. So we have three sovereigns. These sovereigns, all of them combined, they were put together to create the person that you all understand as Jesus. You know, the thing about this world is we like Panji said, like the Ghanaian Panji said, he said we are living in a lie. We are living in a lie. This whole planet is living in some kind of lie. I don't know how to describe it, but it's as if some presence came in and just put the whole world in a lie. This giant lie exists in this world, and every human being is in it. And there is no way you can detach from this lie. It's extremely difficult for you to get out of this lie. That is why the ancestors are finding the way. Remember, when the AI comes, the AI is going to be when all the knowledge is controlled. The difference between regular knowledge, you go and search it, you have different opinions, you have different ideas, you have different thoughts, and you can discern. But the AI, no, the AI is going to be controlled by a specific people. And the people are going to be the one feeding you the answers. Whatever they put in the AI is going to be what they tell you. They are going to control the AI. And so, as we are entering the world where AI is going to control all the knowledge, we have to have some foundation of knowledge. So, what is Chisu? What is Jesus? The closest definition to Jesus is know thyself. That's what a Jesus is, just knowledge of self. And a person possessing knowledge of self, a Chisu. Chi meaning the self, and Su meaning knowledge, self knowledge. That is what a Chisu is this self knowledge. To acquire self knowledge, the five branches of self knowledge, which are creator, nature, ancestor, self, and your enemy. You should know those things. If you know those five branches of knowledge, you are going to survive in this world. If you don't, well, you know, you will live in the artificial world. So let's go straight into the book. Today we are talking about the dog, and we're going to start out with all the books about the dog, all the stories about the dog. So we are on page number 17, and this one here is the Nandi culture. Nandi culture would be the people of Kenya, Nandi people. They have a deity named Isis or Asis. So Isis, basically, Isis banishes men. Isis is the supreme creator or the supreme being. In this context, Isis is a male, not a female. Okay, in this context. So Isis is the supreme being. He created the sun and moon, the sky and the earth, the earth first, then fire and water and thunder and with lightning. Then he created the first four living beings uh, on earth: man, people with living souls, and the elephant, the snake, the cow. Okay. So he created the first four living beings on earth. So the first four living beings on earth he created is human beings with souls, and then the elephants, the snakes, and the cows. So those are the four beings he created. He created on the hill trees and grass in the valley. Thunder was a gigantic bird flying through the sky with his talons, a spear with a long flashing blade, or a sharp machete. Asista, the sun who lives in the sky, is the giver of all good things, and prayers and offerings are made to him. He is the distant being, but is the force behind everything. Between him and the living stand the spirit of the dead, which is ancestors, or weak, still members of the nation, who mediate between man and God and punish the living to prevent them from upsetting the balance of nature by their crimes. They are responsible for their sickness and death. They live under the earth in the hills and the waterfall, and two other supreme beings, the kindly and the malevolent thunder god, Inlet Nemi and Inlet Nia, engage in battle with each other. Chemoset is an evil spirit who lives on the earth and who devours people, especially children. Chemoset is a half man, half bird. He has one leg and nine buttocks, I guess. His mouth, which is red, shines at night. He propelled himself by means of a stick, which he used as a crutches. When the first men lived on earth, a dog came to them and said to them one day and said, "All people will die like the moon, but unlike the moon, you will not return to life unless you give me some milk to drink out of your gourd and beer to drink through your straw. If you do this, I will arrange and to come back again on the third day." But the people laughed at the dog and gave him some milk and beer to drink off a stool. The dog was angry at not being served in the same vessel as human beings. Though he drank the milk and the beer from the stool, he went away angrily, saying, "All people will die. The moon alone will return to life." So it is that when people die, they remain dead, while the moon goes away for 3 days and returns again. So we have completed the first story, which is on the dog. As you've understood now, the dog um, came to the people and told the Africans, he said, "Give me some milk and some beer out of your gourd." And when the Africans gave him in some kind of a dog pen, he did not like it. So he told the Africans, "You will die," right? Prior to that, he told the Africans, "If you give it to me, I will assist you cross the river and you will come back after death. You'll cross the river and come back after death." And so all these things that you're reading, this story is an encryption, right? The story is an encryption. The story is an encryption for African people. Is only when you read it and it's not meant for you, or you are not you're not the person who is the story is made for, you're not going to know the hidden knowledge in the story. You're not going to know. But if the story is meant for you, if you are like the initiated, you will know what they're talking about. You will have the full understanding in the scope. One thing is, after Africans say that after a person dies, we have to cross the river of the afterlife. So in this story, they tell you that there is a river that people cross after death. When they die, they cross the river. And the dog is the ferryman. They tell you in the story that the dog is the ferryman that crosses you across the river. And the dog will take you back to the shores of the afterlife and bring you back to the world of the living if you were to give the dog the milk, etc., etc. That's how they explain it, right? Now, for someone who is not paying attention to the story, you're not going to learn what the ancestors are trying to convey to you. So let's continue the story. Let's go to the second story here. This story is the Igbo. Comes from the Igbo culture, the Igbo land, Nigeria. So, Chuku and the woman's long pestle. A pantheon of high gods headed by Chuku, Chi, Chuku, Chineke, Chuku, Osebluwa. The supreme spirit includes Anyanwu, the sun, Igwe, the sky, Amadioha, the lightning, and Allah, the earth deity. Minor deities include water and agricultural gods, spirits that are the personification of destiny, spirits that are the counterpart of living human beings, and the ancestors who control the fortunes of their living descendants. Chukwu is the creator and Lord of all created things. He controls all things in the heavens and on earth. Three names reveal the different attributes. Okay, Chukwu, the great God, the essence of being, Chineke, the spirit who creates, and Osebluwa, who governs and directs all things. In the beginning, Chukwu lived near the earth. Chukwu lived quite near the earth. And the sky could be touched by man's hand, by people's hand. The blame for the removal of the sky is laid on a woman. One day, a woman was pounding yam in a mortar. At each stroke, she lifted the long pestle higher in the air and bring it down with greater force. Each time she did this, she hit the sky. Chukwu called out to her to stop, but she paid no heed. Finally, Chukwu moved away in anger to distant height, where the sky has been ever since. When death first moved into the world, humans sent a dog to Chukwu with the request that the dead be restored to life. The dog loitered along the way and was overtaken by a toad who had overheard the message and desired to punish humans. He got to Chukwu before the dog did and gave the wrong message, telling Chukwu that humans did not wish to return to life after death. Chukwu agreed to this request and was unable to alter when the dog finally arrived with the correct request. So it is that death came into the world. Again, we learn the second story of Chukwu. Chukwu is the supreme being, and this in the Igbo pantheon, and Osebluwa, the human beings sent a dog to deliver a message to Chukwu that they wanted to live forever. If they die, they should continue to be resurrected. But then the toad or the chameleon overheard the message and went as that. So there's two nations that talk about the dog. So we have one in Kenya. They talk about the dog bringing death. The dog is associated with death. In Kenya, the Nandi people. In Nigeria, the Igbo people, the dog is associated with death as well. So let's continue the story. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right, this one is Gion's universe. This is the Jukon Kororo Fawa, Nigeria. Okay, Jukon Kororo Fawa, Nigeria. Okay, that's the uh, ethnic group name. Gion, the chief divinity and supreme being, with a dog with a head like a lion, controls the tornadoes. The fruits are taken to the chief priest, Akondo, to give to Gion. In the season of drought, Akondo calls the king of the water, to whom offerings are made. The sun is called Minyo, and the moon is called Sun. Okay. The sun goes to the west and rests. There are 7 suns. Okay, this one doesn't explain anything to the dog. It just said that the supreme being has a dog. That's what this story talks about. Let's go to okay, the 7 goddesses of fate determine the destiny of a child, a king Hathor. Okay, the 7 Hathor. Hathor then decreed his destiny would be to die by a serpent, a dog, or a crocodile. Okay, let's move on to another story. I'm looking for stories with the dog, like, okay, let's go to Juak. Okay, Juak now, this is Juak and the dog that preserved mankind. This is Sudan. So this will be the last story I read on the dog, Juak and the dog that preserved mankind. This is the Anuak Sudan, or Sudanese people. Juak, the creator, or Jok, the supreme being, is an androgynous being or God. all powerful and omniscient spirit. He had sons, first an elephant, then a buffalo, a lion, a crocodile, and after that, a little dog. And finally, man and woman. When he saw humans being without hair, Juak told the dog to throw them away. The dog took the human beings to a tree and put the children in a hole in the tree. Then, without his knowledge, the dog milked a cow among the God's herd and fed the children. The children grew up, got too big for the tree, so the dog took them to the country where they built a house. They became man and woman. When the dog brought them to Juok, Juok wanted to kill them, but the dog asked him to let them live as his brothers and sisters. As the land was getting crowded, Juok decided to allocate land to his people. He would deal with the elephant, buffalo, and lion first, and with man and woman last. But the dog knew that if they went in last, they would have get nothing. They must go in first, pretending to be the larger animals. Okay, let me see here. Pretending to be the larger animals, when Juok asked who was the man, said he was the elephant, the buffalo, and the lion. And Juok gave him all the spears. When the larger animals arrived, Juok realized that they had, what had happened. So he gave the crocodile teeth, he gave the elephant tusk, and the buffalo horns, and the lion claws. The man he met those creatures, killed them with a spear, and da, 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 da. Okay, Juok decided to cast a rock into the river so that when man died, he should die forever. When the dog heard that the beast had been summoned to counsel by God, he told man to look after the cattle. He would go and listen to Juok. But man said that he would listen to Juok himself. Dog knew that man would misunderstood Juok words, but he gave way. Upon to that time, man had to die for a few days, only then come back to life. Juok has to come and throw rocks into the river, and so terminated man's life. When the beast, man did not clearly understand what he said, as dog had foreseen, so that the beast cast the rocks into the river. Dog was hurting a great splash happened when he saw and cast by Juok into the river. He showed that where the rock had fallen. Tried to pull himself away, but it was too heavy. Okay, this one is too long. This story is too long. But the point is about death coming into the world, and the dog is. I've told you the three stories. There's more than that. And the Africans tell a lot of stories involving death and the dog. So let's go into our lesson for. That was a little bit long. I was not planning for that story to be long. Let's start with the one we call Osiris. Or popular ancestor, or the most popular sovereign in Kemet, the land of Nuba-Kemita, is the one that they call Osiris or Wsir. Osiris or Wsir, as you all know it, the name can be said in multiple ways. First of all, let's get the name. The name is two separate words. It's not one word. Okay? U has a separate meaning. Sar has a separate meaning. So when we say Usar, the title constituting of two. Okay? When we say Wsir, we are saying two things, we and sir. Okay? When we say Osiris, we are saying three things. O is one letter word, one phrase. Asar, seer is one phrase, and then is another, is the suffix, right? So now here is the proper way you can, the name is spoken. There is Asar, Asar is two words or two phrase. As, as, and then Sar, ar. There is Osip. Osip, O means I, O means I, and sip, I guess, is the same thing. Ip, right? Osip, Osip, Osep, Wsir, Wsir, or Whistle. This is how the tonal or the way to pronounce the name of this person. So, out of all the sovereigns in Kemet, the person that has the most avatar of all, there is no deity in the entire Kemet that has most avatars. Avatars, what are avatars? Avatars are creative embodiments of a divinity. Avatars are a, uh, uh, um, a human being taking a personification of the deity. Okay, out of all the divinities in the whole of Africa, Asar is associated with all the deities. He has the powers or the connection to every deity. That is the thing that we have to understand. So, for example, we have Asar right here. Asar is two words. We have an I. The I is called R. R. The I is R. R means to create. R means to create, to make, to fashion, to work, right? Or R means I see, or to see, or insight. I have insight, or I have wisdom, or I have light. Okay, light. Okay, or it can mean a watcher, to watch, to observe, to see. So that's what R means. There's two, you see, there's two letters here, A-R, part of his name, R. A-R means the eye, to see, insight, to watch, or to observe, or it could mean, as I said. Then as means this chair. As means the chair or the seat. The seat symbolizes power. The seat symbolizes authority. The seat symbolizes, how do you call it? The seat symbolizes like knowledge. That's what the seat symbolizes. So anytime you hear Asar, it means the wisdom of government, or the wisdom or the knowledge of rulership, of kingship. So someone possessing knowledge of kingship, someone who is a good ruler, a good king, right? Any person who possesses, like politicians, this would apply to politicians. This part of the lesson would apply to someone wanting to be a leader. Asar represents to have wisdom of leadership, to have insight, knowledge of power. So to possess the knowledge of power, right? You know why they say knowledge is power? Well, this is what Asar would be. Asar would be the equivalent of knowledge is power, right? This insight of the seat, the chair. Okay? So R and then As. Asar means the seat of the insight or the eye. Now, Asar Anpu. When we say Asar Anpu, this is a syncretism. The Greeks call this syncretism. Syncretism is when the two deities have been joined together, and then we have Asar Anpu, hence the Greek call it Anubis. We have Asar Ankti, hence the deity has been combined with another deity, and then we have Asar Unifer, the deity has been combined with Unifer, they're forming one deity. The deity Asar Uteti, again, Asar. So Asar is the most combined divinity out of the entire Kemet. There's no deity in all of Kemet whom is equivalent or who is united or unified with other sovereigns than Asar. So let's understand that. Who is Asar? What does Asar look like? Asar, this is a picture of Asar right here. You see this individual sitting in the chair? This is Asar. He always has a blue skin. You will see him there with the blue skin. And then he has the crown, which is a crown called the wind crown. It is called the wind crown, the crown of knowledge. He wears the crown of all knowledge in the cosmos. Asar is the crown of knowledge, the person that is crowned with knowledge. So in all of the universe, no person has the crown of knowledge except Asar. Asar wears the crown of knowledge. As you can see, this crown upon his head is called the crown of knowledge. So he wears the crown of knowledge. He sits on the seat and he has one leg. In most depiction, Asar used to have two legs. As you can see him in this picture, he used to have two legs. But one of his legs was bitten off by the crocodile named Maka. One of his legs was cut off by the crocodile named Maka, or the Hindus call this crocodile Makara. In Kemet, they call the crocodile Maga or Maka or Maki something. Okay, so this would be the original picture of Asar. He is blue, he's not green per se. His original color complexion is blue. Asar is blue. Okay, which deity in the world that Asar would be close to? Asar would be what the Hindus call Shiva. The one deity whom is equivalent to Asar in the world is Shiva. The Hindu deity Shiva and Asar are the same incarnation. Asar has a dual aspect. Asar has a twin or a dual aspect, and his twin brother is called Suti, or his dual half or his duality is called Suti. Okay, Suti or Sutek. That's his duality. So Asar has a twin or a dual nature, and that his dual nature is Suti. Okay, that's his twin brother. Now, Asar represents the sun. According to the Greek scholars, scholars, I'm going to read what the Greek said. So Asar is the sun and the moon were primeval and eternal, and they were called and they called the former Osiris. The sun is called Osiris, and the latter Isis was the moon, assigning each of these names according to some. Now, when the ancient Egyptian, awestruck and wondering, turned their eyes to the heavens, they concluded that two gods, the sun and the moon, were primeval and eternal, and they called the former Osiris and the latter Isis, assigning each of their names according to some relevant characteristic. For translating these applications into the Greek idiom, Osiris is the many-eyed, and quite properly so, for he spreads everywhere his rays as if to observe with many eyes all the land and the seas. Even the poets express his agreement and with this conceit, the sun who sees and hears all things. Some of the early Greek mythologists called Osiris Dionysus, and also changing the word slightly to Sirius. Of these, Eumolopus in his Buchanilian verse says. Okay, so the ancient Greeks, or the Greeks that were not the near ancient, the proximity to ancient Greek, the proximity, not ancient. They're not ancient. The Greeks are not ancient. So the proximity to ancient Greeks, these people, they said that the person that they called Osiris is the sun. He is what they call Ra, the sun. And then Isis is the moon. And that's how they divided it. That's what the Greeks narrate. They said that Osiris is called the many-eye god. His name means many eye, or the all-seeing eye. So that's what the ancient Greeks had to say. Now, what did the Kemetic people have to say about Osir? Who is Osir according to the Kemetic people? The Kemetic people say Osir or Sar. Remember, I told you it's two words. Sar means acting with wisdom. For a person to be, your behavior and character to be marked by wisdom. So action that is carried or composed by wisdom. Your actions are always carried by wisdom. So acting with wisdom or uprightness, being honorable, having truthfulness, having a good disposition, and goodness of character. That is what Sar means. Sar means a good person, literally. Someone who is wise, someone who is upright, someone who is honorable, someone is truthful, right? Having a good disposition, a goodness of character. That is what Sar means. So when we say Usar, U means all. U means all. U means all, omnipresent. U means for something to be omniscient, omnipresent, ubiquitous. Sar means goodness, wisdom, honorable, truthfulness, goodness of character. So when you say Asar, you are saying the omniscient wisdom. That's what Asar means. Omniscient wisdom, omniscient uprightness, omniscient honorable, omniscient truth, the omniscient having good disposition, the omniscient having good character. That's what Asar means. Omniscient, omnipresent wisdom, omnipresent uprightness, omnipresent honorable, omnipresent truthfulness, omnipresent good character, omnipresent disposition, etc. That's what Asar means. Okay, Usar. Now, if we say all almighty, or we say all wisdom, or all uprightness, all honor, all truthfulness, we will be talking about Asar. Now, if we write each symbol directly, the name is Suhit. Suhit means egg. Suhit means the egg of creation, the universe. Okay, Suhit means the universe. Re means the word, or Neter means the sovereign. So the sovereign creator. Okay, Usuhit Re Neter. Usuhit Re Neter would be the if we were to spell out the whole name exactly with all the symbols, the symbol would be Suhit. Suhit means an egg, right? So he's the cosmic egg. So the all cosmic egg, Re Neter. Re would be what? The sun, and then Neter would be the divine. Okay. His name also means Ra Sha Neter. Ra Sha Neter. Re or Ra means the sun. Sha means wisdom, knowledge, or fortune. And then Neter would be the utmost divine or sovereign. R means I or light. R means I or light. U, being or existence. She means nature or pool or divine or fate, etc. So Arushi. His name is also called Arushi. He is also given the title of Arushi, okay, or Aushi. Arushi. That's his title of Asar. So Asar means a being whose actions are always wise. Asar means a being who is all wisdom, all goodness, all truthfulness, all right-mindedness. That's what Asar means. So when you can now understand why the Greeks took Asar and they made Jesus. You can now understand, you can now comprehend why the Greeks took the African divinity known as Asar, and they created what they called Jesus, right? Because it was Asar, and then they created a copy of this Asar, and they created something called Jesus that people follow today. So Asar means a being whose actions are always wisdom, always goodness, or truthfulness, or right-mindedness. A reasonable person, a person who always acts in reason. But Asar can mean many things. Uh, many things. Asar can mean the island or where he was born. He was born on an island. The nest. It can mean the nest where he was born in the nest, the place of birth. Or it could mean the beginning strength, the God, the Lord of strength, the splendor of the egg of potentiality. He is called the splendor of the cosmic egg of potentiality. He is called the coming of the egg of beginning. He's called that. He is called the rivers, the stream of the mouth of the egg. He's called, the mouth, the entry, the upper half of the egg of beginning, arm that gives the egg of potentiality. So Asar is giving many, many attributes. Okay, he's given many, many attributes, which is very, very important when you look at it the way this is how, if you think about it, Jesus is not the Jesus doesn't have all the attributes which Asar has. Asar has more attributes than Jesus, right? So this is Asar. He's always seated and he's always wearing the ash crown. The crown that he's wearing is made of the bones of the ancestors. Atoms, when Atum finished the creation, Atum gave up the body, and the bones of Atum were used. It was burned to ashes, and then they took the ashes of Atum and they made a crown, and this became the source of all knowledge. It became the crown. It's called the crown of the all wisdom, the all knowledge, the all everything. It possessed all the cosmic knowledge. That's what the crown is. Symbolize all knowledge, all wisdom. So this is Asar. You always see him with a horn, with two horns of the ram in front of his crown. You will always see Asar with two horns of ram, and he's always wearing the ash crown or the white crown, as Europeans call it. This is his symbol, the seat, and this is the couch. After his leg was bitten off by the crocodile, when his leg was severed off, Asar could no longer walk, so he rested on the couch. This is a headrest, also symbolized by Asar. So Asar means the eye of the seat, or the seat of the eye, right? The seat of the eye, or the seat of insight, the seat of wisdom. Okay, that's what Asar means. Now, the crown is called Hejet. The crown is called Hejet, or Hejet means light. The crown of light, or the white crown, as people call it, but it's called the ash crown. Now, in the Bible, there's a book where Jesus goes into the wilderness and to fast and to pray. In the Christian Bible, there is a story. Jesus goes into the wilderness to fast and pray. Every Christian knows this, right? They'll tell you Jesus went to the wilderness, fasted and prayed for 40 days and 40 nights, right? But where does the story come from of the prayer in the underworld or the desert, the wilderness, the desert? So the story is between Asar and Atum. That's where the story comes from. Atum and Asar on the desert of the dead. Okay, so in the Book of the Dead, chapter 175, Osiris speaks to Atum about his new existence in the desert of the kingdom of the dead. Okay, the world of the ancestors, the underworld. Okay, which is the desert, or which can be, a place without water, without air, and so deep and dark, it is black as the blackest night. He laments there is no bread or beer, no sexual pleasure, and that he cannot see Atum's face. He wonders how he can live in a place there and whether he will be allowed to see his son Horus. So he fasts. He's told to fast and cleanse himself and into the duat, because he is now being tested by Atum, the creator, so that he can rule the afterlife or he can rule the underworld. So Atum responds that Osiris may live in peace of heart because he has provided illumination in the place of water and air, and satisfaction and quiet in place of bread and beer. So hence the saying, man cannot live on bread alone. Hence the Greeks get the idea, man cannot live on bread alone. When Asar came, the land was a desert. The land that he was shown by his father was a desert, and there was nothing there. It was hard to breathe. Everything was terrible. And then he told him, his Atum told him that, you know, this land will become beautiful. This land will become great. You just need to fast and pray. And he did that. And so he reassured Asar that he will not allow him to suffer and that his place in the afterlife is secure. Horus will inherit his throne in the Isles of Fire, and Asar will be part of the boat of millions of years. Atum also promised that Asar will live for more than millions of years, and that in the end he will return to Earth, to the primordial ocean, just as I and Asar again transform into the old serpent. Okay, so Asar and Atum have become one. Asar is essentially the ultimate deity whom is connected to all the divinities in Kemet, right? He is considered the messenger of the divine. Literally, is the messenger of the supreme creator. So Asar is not the supreme creator. Atum would be the supreme oneness creator, but Asar is the messenger or the direct presence of that supreme being. Okay, so he is the Almighty. Asar would be the Almighty. Now, this exchange reflects the Egyptian belief in the Duat as a realm of the dead where the gods themselves dwell. The desert here is not literal wasteland, but symbolic abode, a place of stillness, spiritual nourishment, and separation from the living world. Atum's role as the creator and sustainer of the cosmos means he can offer Osiris a form of immortality and peace, even in a place devoid of physical comforts of life. So the ancient Africans said that when for their ancestor first came into this land, the land was devoid of everything, and they questioned, why should we stay in this land? You know, this land has nothing to offer, right? And so that was the journey. So this is how Asar became the ruler of the afterlife. This is how Asar became the ruler of the world in the city of Abydos. They call it the city of Abydos. He became the ruler of Abydos, right? The land of Abydos was a desert and there was nothing there. And so he became. So this is Asar. Then he is combined with Anpu. And later, as I told you, Sar means to act wisely or honorably, to have a good disposition, or to have right-mindedness. That's what Sar means. Okay, Sar means, see, Sari, right? Sari, or what you get the planet, the star Sirius from, Sirius or Sari, right? Means the egg. So the star Sirius is called the egg, right? So Sirius itself is called, Africans call Sirius the egg of God. So the star Sirius would be called the egg of God, right? Or the egg of the divine egg, the cosmic egg. That's the star Sirius. That's why the star Sirius is very, very important in Africa, because it is called the egg, the divine egg. So U means, U, let's start with U and then Sa is next. U means all, almighty, or great, or goodness, or wisdom, or right-mindedness. That's U. Great, large, right? U means a king, royal child. U means divine beings. U is a deity. There's a deity, it means divinity, right? U means the nest, the island where Asar was born. U means strength. Asar is the god of strength. And splendor, he's the god of beauty, splendor. U means coming, being, and existence. Asar is the god of all those things, right? U means the dog. Asar is the sovereign of the dog and the jackal. He's the lord of the jackal and the dog. means river and stream. He's the Lord of the Nile River, the happy river. Means above, arm that gives, the giver, the grantor, the gift. So all of these things are attributes of Asar, the giver, the great, etc., etc. So we have Asar and we have Usaset. Usaset would be what we call or Uset, Uset or Asat, right? Asat means the seat of the throne. She is the seat. That's what Isis means. Isis means the seat. There is another name for Asar is also called Anu. The ancient name of Asar is Anu. Okay, so as you can see here, this is Asar. Asar is, all these are just giving you different titles of Asar. Asar is, Anu is the name of Asar. The sun, Anu means the sun or the sky or the light, heaven. Okay, the eye, Anu means the eye. So you see that thing that, the eye, that's Anu, right? Anu means the eye, Anu means the light, Anu means heaven. Okay, he is the creator of the seat. Okay, Asar is the creator of the seat or the chair, the throne, and the paddle, the oar. He paddled. Remember, he was in his boat. He was paddling in his boat, the oar, and then the crocodile, Makara or Maka, attacked him and bit off his leg. And so ever since then, he has one leg, right? So he is called the noble king, the wise king, and he is called Lord of the two crocodiles. Asar is called Lord of the two crocodiles, father of the crocodile. Okay, he is called the father of the twin crocodile or the twin princes, the two rulers, the twins, father of the twins. So there are many, many attributes. He is called king of Abit, what you call Abydos. Abydos or Abit is the city, is city. He is called the great one, the chief official. Asar, the great one Asar, the chief Asar, the two crocodiles, Lord upon the two crocodiles. He's called the Lord of the two crocodiles. He is the Lord of the mystery schools, the Shita, Lord of the mystery schools. So he is king of the mountain perch of Menefer. He is Lord of the city of the sun, Anu Niwat, the great chief Ati, the beautiful face of love, the fire earth mystery, the great king of the mountain perch, the wind. He is called the victor of eternity, the sovereign of eternity, the divine conqueror of eternity. So Asar has many, many attributes, so many attributes that you cannot name them, right? That is why Asar was venerated in Kemet. That is why Asar was treated with the utmost love and devotion in Kemet. Okay, because of, as you see, the crown. Asar is associated with Ptah, right? Asar is called Atef. Atef means father. Okay, Asar is called Atef, means father. Okay, the all father or the father of all. He is called Ne, means eternal. He is called Awa, right? Neawa means the law. He is called Neawa, means the eternal law, right? He has the mace of light. He's Lord of, he's a warrior. He's the bright or the destroyer, right? He is action, creator, insight, wisdom, knowledge. He's the first ancestor. So Asar embodies all of these things. Wsir, Asar or Wsir is the first son or the incarnation of the sun. He's the first aspect of Ra. He is the first attribute of Ra, or the first form that the sun took when the sun came into physical life. He represents the light, the eye, and he later becomes this, Horus becomes his eye, right, on the earth. So he is called Su, okay, meaning knowledge, okay? So everything that Asar was associated with, all the divinities, he has attributes of all the divinities, okay? He has a magical mace, Hajet, dedicated to the falcon, venerated as the great light or the earth creator. So that is his weapon. Okay, is you will see the mace. And now Asar. Now that chapter we finish with Asar, and then we go into Heru. Okay, the great Horus. So the great Horus, we will talk about him, but for let me see here. I think I've covered everything on Asar, and the story about Atum and Asar talk about the desert. Let me read this first before we move on. So, in the ancient Egyptian myth, Atum and Asar engage in a conversation about the desert, where Osiris expressed his despair over the desolate nature of the underworld. Atum responds by offering a contrast world where Asar can live in peace, free from the desolation of the desert. The conversation heightened the theme of creation, preservation, and eternal nature of life and death in ancient Egyptian belief. Um, okay, Asar said to Atum, "What does this mean that I must go into the desert? It has no water, it has no air, and is very dark and very deep and very dark, boundless. Atum, you will live there without care. Asar, but one cannot find there the satisfaction of love." Atum said, "I have put the transfigured in the place of water, air in and satisfaction, and carefree in the place of bread and beer." So this is where the original verse said that man cannot live on bread alone. This is it when Asar and Atum having the conversation. Okay, so let's continue. Now, what is this here? What are you looking at here? The place where nothing grows. So this place here is called Anu Arutifa. Okay, Anru Tifa Neter, Anrirut Fa, or Narut. So this is the world, or this is the place where Asar was sent, and he is where he was to fast and to pray for the time allotted him. And after he fasted and he prayed, he was able to emerge. So Asar, as we say, it means many, many beautiful things. The name means mighty, the strongest, the mightiest, riches. It has to do with everything. It's the most potent name. Asar is the most potent name of all. In all of Kemet, it's the most potent name, right? And it's also the name of the star Sirius, right? Which is um, uh, Asar, right? Or Sa. So I believe I've covered everything on Asar. There's nothing left. All these are just more about the connection between him and Jesus, the water into wine, turning water into wine. What else? Turning water into wine. What else did he turn water into wine? Uh, what else? Bread and giving bread and fish to the people. Things that he did, everything, right? Walking on water, all that is all part of Asar's story. And you won't believe it. You think like Africans like they don't have plenty of people who walked on water, right? You might be thinking like, oh man, there's no there Africa in Africa's story, there's a lot of people that walked on water. People dance on water, people play on water, all that stuff. There's not even something little, right? People walked on water in Africa like crazy. But again, as I said, when the Greeks got their hand on the story, they created their own version of the story. And this is something that's very important for Africans to know. If until Africans go back to the perspective of their ancestors, they are doomed to listen to the Greek perspective. And the Greek perspective was created for the Greek. It wasn't Greeks. It was not created for the Africans. So now I am tired already, and I wanted to do the second half, which is the story of Nefertem. I wanted to do the story of Nefertem. So I'm not gonna, man, I'm already tired. So I'm not gonna do the whole story. So this, the being called Nefertem, the Lord beauty, the sovereign of beauty, right? And love, the sovereign of love, the sovereign of beauty, and the sovereign of the bow and arrow. He's the Lord of the bow and arrow. So what makes you say is this Lord of the bow and arrow? What are the symbolism tell you in the Meduneter? What are the symbols in the Meduneter? So let's look at Nefertem. So Nefertem has the head of a lion. The lion symbolizes a warrior, right? The lion always symbolizes a warrior. The lion symbolizes the sun. The lion represents the sun. The lion represents the archer, okay? Not just the archer, but a warrior, strength, hero. Lion represents all those things, courage, etc. The falcon that is seated on his head, he balancing the falcon on his head, that falcon symbolized the bow, the archery. Okay, so that means he's an archer. He's a bow and arrow. He's the best archer or the best bow. The lotus symbolizes medicine. Okay, the lotus is the symbol of medicine. Okay, healing. So he's a doctor. He's a physician. He's a warrior, a bow and arrow, or archer, and then he's again a warrior, a god of war, a justice. The sun, he's the sun. So we have the cow head, the head on the cross. As I've told you the last time when we talked in the last, if you didn't watch the previous lecture, go and watch it. This is the head of the bull, and this represents, the symbol represents the throat. Okay, this is called the aha. Okay, the symbol is called the aha or ahu. Then we have the next symbol. This symbol is called Wsir, Asar, or this symbol is called Usar, the dog on the pole, the dog head on the pole. This is called Usar. So the next symbol over there, this is the guitar or the musical instrument. This is called Nefer. So Nefertem means the complete beauty or the whole beauty or the all beauty, the most beautiful. That's what Nefertem means. Nefertem means complete beauty, total love, total etc. etc. That's what Nefertem means. So when the sovereign is called Nefertem, he is literally the most beautiful divinity, deity of all. Out of all the divinities, Nefertem is the most beautiful. What is Nefertem known for? Nefertem is known for a musician. He's a musician. He plays music. He plays poetry, etc. And he's an archer. He's a bow and arrow, the archer, a marksman, and the best archery god there is in Kemet, the best archery. And then he is the sun as well. He represents the sun. So we have all of these. Now we have Apu, Anpu or Apu, right? Then we have the cow, which is called Apis, or typically we call him Horus, the cow, Horus. So in Kemet, the bull or the cow symbolize the messenger of God. So when you say the messenger of God, that is a cow, that is a bull. Okay, that's a messenger of God. The bull is symbolized or represents the messenger of the God or the divine. That's what the bull symbolizes. The second thing is the falcon also symbolizes the messenger of God, right? But the falcon symbolizes the archer, okay, an archer. The bow symbolizes strength, to build, a builder, okay? And then horror, the word horror means hero, great, etc., right? Young people, a child, etc. Horus means hero. So the heroes, the Neter em Athi means the Lord upon the two crocodiles, the prince who balances on the back of the two crocodiles, the two princes. He stands on the back of the two princes, the two crocodiles, Lord upon the two crocodiles. So what do the two crocodiles symbolize? What do the two crocodiles symbolize? The two crocodiles symbolize the two lands. Lord or standing upon the two earths or the two lands, the two princes, the two lands. The goddess Nate, who created the earth, divided the earth or Kemet or the land into two islands. Each of these islands is represented as a crocodile. Okay, so he stands on both lands. He stands on the two islands. So he's called Lord upon the two islands, or Lord upon the two lands, or Lord upon the two crocodiles. That's what he symbolized. These two crocodiles are called the Ati. Ati. Ati, remember in the lecture I told you about T, what does T means? Remember we talked about T, Ethiopia, the lecture I talked about that, Ati. Ati means the two crocodile, or it means the sovereign, the two sovereigns. So master of the two sovereigns, or Lord of the two sovereigns, Lord of the two ruler, who balances or he rides his chariot. So the chariot he rides upon is the sovereign, the ruler, or the prince. So he is literally born to be a prince. He is literally the embodiment of leadership. He's the embodiment of greatness. He's the embodiment of sovereignty, rulership, and prince. He is called Neter Ati, Lord upon the two crocodiles. Okay, now let's continue. So we have Khonsu. Khonsu, I explained to you who Khonsu is the last time. Then we have Chiuti. Chiuti, we will come to Chiuti's story in another session. We have Kepri. We will come to Kepri's story in another session. And then we have Nefertem, or Nefertem, means the most beautiful of all the gods. Is the most beautiful gods of all. So there goes the two princes, the two lands of Kemet, okay, the two great lands. And then he is standing on the back of the two crocodile, the two lands, or the two princes. So now, when the ancient Africans first reached to the land of Kemet, they said that the land was, or Menefer specifically, Menefer was the Mediterranean River, or the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River they had joined almost together, and they created a vast swamp. The entire Kemet, or what they people call Egypt, that entire place was a swampland, full of mixture of the sea and the two waters joined together. So the torrent rains, the flood, this wild river, they all joined together at this place. And when the Africans were looking for the center of the earth, they sent a falcon out, and the falcon flew, and the falcon perched right in the swampland. And the Africans decided to build Menefer, the city, the center of the earth at Menefer, or where the great pyramids are. They decided to build the center of the earth. That's where they decided to build the civilization. And as they went and they toiled and they built the civilization, they experienced a lot of sickness, a lot of diseases in the swamp, a lot of death in the swamp. And so the importance of medicine became a very, very important system in this, right? And so Nefertem was one of the earliest divinities of the city of Menefer. He is the son of Ptah and Sekhmet, and his twin sister is called Bastet. Okay, so Nefertem is the son of Ptah and Sekhmet, and his twin sister is Bastet. All right, and let's continue the story. So Nefertem is the sovereign of healing. He's a god of medicine because he has the lotus on his head. He's the lord of the bow and arrow because he balances the falcon on his head. And then he is the Lord, the mastery of poetry, but not just poetry. He's a craftsman because his father Ptah is a craftsman, is a blacksmith, etc. He is also a reciter of recitation of the spiritual books, the holy books of Kemet, and the arts. He is also a patron of the art Hemu, or Hemti, Nuba-Kemita. And the light, he embodies enlightenment. He embodies the light, which is the sunlight, which is why he is reflected as a lion. He embodies the light. And then he embodies knowledge, which is why he is called the son of Ptah, right? And he is a cowherd, right? He represents a cowherd. Apis, the bull at Menefer. And he is also the son of Ptah Ra, which is a ram. He is the guardian of young people. He is the god of youthful people, young people. So Ptah Kanimu is the sovereign of priests and priestesses. Ptah Kanimu is the sovereign of divination, the system itself, divination system. Ptah Kanum is the creator of that. Based on the signs of the Meduneter and all the different things, the priestess, all these things, they all form the divination system, the priestess and the priesthood. So all the birds are messengers of the ancestors. All birds are considered in Kemet, birds are representation of messengers of the ancestors. Okay, swans are representation of beauty of the soul. And then dogs or wolves are representation of the opener of the way. They open the pathway or the crossroad. They are opener of the crossroad. So the river, the snakes, the messengers, all those snakes are called earth messengers. Snakes, serpents are earth messengers. Okay, and when a deity is standing on the back of an animal, that animal is called his chariot. The animal is called his chariot. So if the deity is standing on the back of a lion, then the lion is pulling the chariot. The lion is his chariot. If he is standing on the back of a swan, the swan is his chariot. If he's standing on the back of the moon is his chariot. So anything that the deity is balancing upon means that it's their chariot. Nefertem, or the lotus, was used as medicine or healing in Africa. It was used for healing. So he is a lion and a falcon. As you see the falcon, so he's a lion who balances the falcon on his head, and also the falcon who balances the medicine on his head. So he is the master of music, meaning Nefer. Nefer means music. So Nefer means music, right? Music, to play music, beauty. Nefer means beauty. Nefer means music, etc. So he's the master of music, song, singing, and beautiful things, and instrument, musical instrument. His father, Nefertem's father, is called Ptah. Ptah is who the Greeks call Ptah, right? Ptah, or the name is Ptah. So Ptah is his father, and Ra is also the same Ptah. Ptah and Ra are the same people. Kanum and Ra are the same people. Okay? Menefer, the powers of his father, which is the divine recitation, the hymns, and the poetry. So in Kemet, we have something called Bati. Bati means the soul, the song of the soul, or to, there's a city called, there's a thing called the sistrum. The sistrum is an instrument that communicates the sound of the soul. It plays the sound of the soul. The sistrum also, what they call the sistrum, it plays the original tune of the universe, original tune of the universe. The sistrum in Kemet would be what the Hindus call mantra. So you have in India, they have mantras. In Africa, we have the sistrum, right? Sistrum means the sound. Who means the sound that, the divine sound or the divine command. So we have those two things. He is a master of those two schools, which is recitation and poetry and hymns, etc. He is the Lord of light because he's a lion, and the lion in Africa is called Ra or Ru, right? So it means light or knowledge. The lion is called the light or knowledge. So Apis, the bull, and the cow is the moon. The moon is the bull. The bull is symbolized by the moon. And the goats are symbolized by the mountain, the creator, right? The god of the mountain, Amun or Amen, the father. Nefertem, guardian and initiator. So he is the lord of initiation of young people. Nefertem is the one who initiates young people, makes sure that all young people receive education and go through initiation. So at the city of Nefertem was the house of initiation for young people. He's the guardian of young people, education, teaching young people, giving young people education. This is Nefertem. Nefer means beauty, and Tem means complete. The whole beauty, the totality of beauty. That's what Nefer means. Nefertem means is the totality of beauty. So he's the Lord of prophecy, which is called Niswat. Niswat means the prophet, right? Niswat means the prophet, but people misunderstand it and they call it the king, right? Niswat means a prophet, someone to see, to perceive the future, or to perceive what is to come, this future. That's a Niswat. So they always say the king of Lower Egypt is called Niswat. The king of Lower Egypt is called Niswat. That's what people say. The king is not called Niswat. The king is called the prophet, right? The king is a prophet, right? He's a divine sight. He's a divine messenger from the gods, often deliver the oracles, vision, dreams, and sacred text, right? You know, all these things. So he is associated with kings, divination of kings, or divining your destiny as a king. Princes, he's associated with princes. Nefertem, the house of Nefertem is associated with princes. It's associated with prophecy. It's associated with divine foresight, the omens, the potents, the auspicious, the inauspicious times of the year. Nefertem, the house, is associated with that. The most so Niswat, if people call it king of Lower Egypt, means prophet. Okay, Niswat means the prophet. Then Hemut. Hemut means artificer or artisan or worker man. So he's the Lord of, he's the chief workman and artist. Remember, his father Ptah is the creator and the Lord of skill set, right? Work. He's the Lord of work. And his son is the artisan or the workman. He is all of those things. So we have again right here, worker in stone, metal, metallurgy, the founder, the sculptor, the artisan of Horus. So he is called, again, he is given the title. So Nefertem is extremely, extremely known. The place of birth of Bast in Nefertem was the city called Depi. Okay, Depi is two cities in Kemet. The city is called Wajet. So Wajet is one of the cities called P, and the other city is called Dep or Dap, Dapi. So Dapi, Wa means one, and then Jet means what? The self, right? The self. So the one self. So Wa means the one self, or the Chi means the self. The serpent means, the Chi. Wa Jed, Jed equals Wa Chi, Chi equals serpent, the self. Then knowledge of self. So this is where the Africans came up with the one self, right? They came up with this concept of unifying the self. There were duality. Every people were duality. They possessed duality. And the Africans had to go through initiation to unify the self, to create the one self. So the one self, or the unified self, this is what they call Wajet. Wajet would be the unified self, right? The one self. So Nefertum is the possessor of the divine sight. He has the divine sight. So that means foresight, forethought, etc. He is the eye of Ra. That means he is the sun. He's a lion. That's why he's called Ra. Ra means lion. Li means lion. Or Lu means lion, etc. Right? He's the eye of Ra. Or even if he's not the eye of Ra, he is Ra. Okay? He's a prophetic deity. Because why is he a prophetic deity? Because as I said, in Kemet, Niswat means prophet. Okay, so he's a Depi oracle, the deity of ritual purification. He is called the Lord of purification. This is called Kebu. Kebu means to wash, ablution, to purify yourself, cleanliness, beauty. Okay, how are you going to be the Lord of beauty if you're not clean, right? So he, of course, he's the Lord of beauty because he's a super clean. He's always clean. He's always fresh. He's It's always well put together. That's why he's called the Lord of Beauty, right? So he is the Eye of Ra, the deity of ritual purification, ablution. Why we perform ablution? We perform ablution because of Nefertem, right? We do it to be hygienic and to be beautiful and cleanliness, right? So he's the Lord of beauty and cleanliness, Nefertem. The scholars of this university were often consulted for guidance in various matters. So at Menefer, the scholars, the initiators, all the people that served Nefertem, they were always consulted because it was always about uh, leadership, finding the young princes, the young, divining the future of young people, so we can put the young people forward ahead. So the sovereign who could have and healing associated with Nefertem. Imhotep, okay, Imhotep, Nefertem is the father of Imhotep. Now, how is Nefertem considered? How is Nefertem considered the father of Imhotep? Okay, Imhotep's mother, she had trouble conceiving. So the mother of Imhotep had trouble conceiving. So she lived in Menefer. The mother of Imhotep lived in the city of Menefer, and she had trouble conception. So she went to the oracles or the priesthood of Nefertem at Menefer. And the priest made a petition to Nefertem. They made a petition to Nefertem. And the petition was that she would get pregnant. So when she went home, she performed whatever the ritual was. She was impregnated by a child, and the child was born, and the child was called Imhotep, the one who comes in peace, within peace, right? The peace within. So he's called Emhetep, right? Emhetep means the peace within, right? So that means he had inner peace within him. Emhetep means he had inner peace within him. That's how he came into being. So his mother, Emhetep's mother, she went to the priesthood and she told them, you know, I'm struggling with children. I can't have children, maybe whatever. And then they perform a ritual, and the divine child was born through her womb, Ptah. They said that Ptah incarnated himself in the form of Imhotep. Ptah himself, our Lord and Master, Ptah himself, incarnated himself in the form of Imhotep. And Imhotep went on to become the greatest of the great, right? The reason was because his mother petitioned Nefertem. Okay, now so either Imhotep is called, he calls Nefertem his father. He said, "Oh my father Nefertem, oh my father Ptah," right? Because he was born. He gave. He went. His mother went there, and she supplicated and made an offering to Ptah or Nefertem, and Nefertem granted her the pregnancy. And through her line, her lineage, the most beautiful human being to ever walk in that age of humanity, Emhetep came into being. And Heptep, the most beautiful soul that ever walked in Africa, so beautiful his spirit was, he had within him was peace. So that is the beauty of Emhetep, the one who had peace within him. Okay, so he's called the child of Nefertem. Nefertem formed the incarnation in Nubia. So he had the original Nefertem, or his form in Nefertem was called Epidemic. Epidemic, the Greeks took the name Epidemic. Let me stop the PowerPoint for a little bit. I want to look you all in the eye as I speak to you. So the people called the Greeks. In Nuba-Kemita, in Nubia, we have a deity, a form of Nefertem, a form. Nefertem in Nuba-Kemita, his home, his territory, where he comes from, in Nuba-Kemita. Nefertem, his homeland in Nuba-Kemita, his name is Epidemic. The Greeks took the word epidemic, and they created another word, epidemic. They took the name, the African word, epidemic. Epidemic. They created another version of the name, or their own version of the name, epidemic. What does epidemic mean? What is an epidemic? Let me Google epidemic here, right? Let me Google epidemic for you. What does epidemic What does epidemic mean? Epidemic means a sudden, fast increase in number of disease cases, community. Okay, so epidemic would be the spread of diseases, plagues, increase in plagues and diseases, the rapid creation of diseases. So the God of plagues, the Lord of plagues, the Lord of diseases, epidemic, his arrows, when he fires his arrows, he creates epidemics, diseases. So whenever he was angry, whenever he was angered, he would fire his arrow, and his arrow would spread diseases in the land of Nubia. And so his he was always prayed to not give them to give them health instead of diseases. So as he has two forms, epidemic, which is his form, and then epidemic is his form, which is the Lord of plagues and diseases, and then Nefertem, which is the Lord of medicine, the Lord of healing, the Lord of physician, doctors, etc. So you see the duality of the sovereign, the duality of the deity. The deity had two forces, two faces. One face could create plagues. He could fire his arrows and create the whole epidemic. And the other, he could heal you. He could create Imhotep, right? Imhotep was born from his lineage. So that's the way that the deities existed in Kemet. Let's continue the story. Let's continue the story where we were. So, all right. Whew, I'm getting tired. Of course, they took everything from Kemet. I see you, my sister Abigail. Much love to you. Positive and creation energy. They took everything. Everything I'm telling you is this is the African way. This is the African thing. What they're telling you is what they took. And it's like the challenge is it's not that anyone is wrong for taking something. For example, the people made iPhone in America, right? The people made iPhone in America. When the iPhone was made, everybody found the iPhone to be useful. Everybody take the iPhone and they use the iPhone, right? But if you want to make money, if you want to be successful, right? You can't take other people's iPhone. You have to make your own iPhone. In China, they didn't take the iPhone and make it part of China. You're not going to be successful if you just take iPhone. iPhone was made for America. But in China, they made their own cell phones that they use. Africans, this is the challenge with Africans. Africans, you are listening to the perspective of the Greeks. You're following the way of the Greeks. That is why you're suffering. That is why you are lost, because you are taking what the Greeks, they don't know nothing. The deity is called epidemic, right? He has duality, two sides. The Greeks care epidemic. How are you going to take epidemic and leave epidemic? Epidemic is indigenous to Africa. Epidemic is foreign. So as an African, you have to always ask yourself, I have heard, but what is the authentic? What is the organic African paradigm? This is the question that Africans should ask yourself. You should say, yes, I have heard, but what is the organic African paradigm? What? That's the question. And Africans are not asking what is the organic African paradigm. They're not doing that. So they are confused. You're taking things that is not for you. Anyway, let's continue the lesson. So where were we? Okay, this is it here. I don't want to get slide number 6. Sheesh. All right. So in Nubia Kemet, epidemic is known as the Lord of the plagues, the Lord of diseases. This is an aspect of the same deity. Remember, Nefertem is an aspect of him, and then his other half or his other aspect is called epidemic. But the Greeks took this form and they created epidemic. That's how they created it. And that is how come we Africans are no longer able to identify. We are confused. We're listening to Greek. So the Punisher who brings ill health and deadly plagues with his arrows. So this is called epidemic. He brings deadly sicknesses and diseases with war, right? The god of war brings diseases and death. So the two cities in Kemet, these cities are in the land of Wajet, what they call the cities of Wajet. The first city is called Pi, and then the other city is called Dep. Okay, it's called Depi. Depi. So Depi, this city of Depi is where Nefertem and Bastet come from, the two. And in the city, we have something called the one self. The first philosophy, Africans created the philosophy called the one self, unifying the dual self. How to unify the two self, how to join the two spirits or the two self. This is where this philosophy comes from. This is part of African spirituality now. The sovereign Wa Jed, or means the one self, was the guardian of Lower Misra. Misra is the word for Egypt. Egypt or Kemet is called Misra. For those of you who don't know what Misra means the birth of Ra, the birthplace of Ra. That's what Misra means. Misra means the birthplace of Ra. So you can call the land Kemet, the land of the two crocodiles. You can call it the land of the two crocodiles, or you can call it Misra, means the birthplace of Ra. Okay, Ra was born here, Misra. Or you can call it Misrahim. You know, Misrahim means the place where the mercy of Ra was born. Misrahim means the place where the mercy of Ra was born, or the merciful Ra was born. So universities, okay, at the universities, the Africans discuss the oneness of the soul or the oneness of the spirit. What was happening during this time when these deities were born? In this city, the Africans focus on the oneness of the spirit, the oneness of everything. This is where they came, the Arabs later on come. There's only one God but Allah. There's no God but Allah. Where did the concept of one God come from, or one being come from? Where did the original idea for one God come from? It comes from Wajet. Wajet meaning the one spirit, right? Or the one, meaning the one God. This was where the original monotheism came from, Wajet. This serpent, okay, this goddess Bastet, her name is Allah. And Allah, A-L-A, not A-L-L-H. There's a difference. A-L-A. In the country called Gabon, the country called Equatorial Guinea, and the land of Igbo, the Igbo Nigeria, they have a deity, earth deity called Allah. Okay? Allah, this deity, is the deity in Kemet they call Waji, okay, or Bastet. They call her Bastet. She, Bastet, was the one who proclaimed, they were the one who started the one self, the one being, okay? They were the ones who started the concept of what people call monotheism, not monotheism, but the one self, the knowledge of self, know thyself. They were the one who came up with the concept of know thyself. So an annual Hebu means, or Heb means cultural celebration. Heb means cultural celebration. Culture. So what is a Hebrew? A Hebrew means Hebrew. or Hebrew. Hebrew means guardians of the cultural celebration. Okay, that's what Hebrew means. The area also contained sanctuaries of Nefertem and Bast, and much later the city became associated with Isis. The invention of archery by the green hawk. So the green hawk, which is called bak. Bak means the bow and arrow, bak. So it was in the city that the Africans took the discipline of archery extremely far. They mastered the bow and arrow in the city extremely, right? But the land of the bow is also, again, there was a there was a argument where the bow came from, but the bow comes from City. The people say that the bow and arrow was invented in the city, or the mastery of the bow and arrow, the way of the bow and arrow. Okay, so let's continue. Bastet is her form called paquette. So Bastet has two forms, paquette and Bastet, right? Paquette is her form, the fiery one, and then Bastet means the calm one, or the sweet one. So you have paquette and Bastet. Then you have Nefertem and epidemic, two forms. So the Nubia sent golden arrows. In Africa, when they said Alexander came to conquer the land of Egypt, people, the queens, or the Eye of Ra, the ladies, they send him golden arrows. They send him golden arrows, and they say, if you keep coming, we will attack you. Right? If you keep coming, we will attack you. Even though, and then he didn't go any further, because the golden arrow can mean wealth or prosperity or war, right? So they will send you golden arrow or silver arrow, and they will tell you, are you coming in peace or are you coming in war? That's how the ancient Africans used to do it. Nefertum is the hawk who embodies the east and the sunrise. He is the crafter of arrows and the bow and arrow, including the silver bow and the golden bow, the quiver, and it is this system, the queen, Amenerinus, would send this bow and arrow, or silver bow and arrow, or arrows to the enemy, or golden bow and arrow to the enemies. Either you come in peace or you come in war. So now is now Mahesi. So Mahesi means the savage eye. Okay, Mahesi means the savage eye, or the eye of war, the god of war. This would be the equivalent of what the Greeks call Ares. So you know how the Greeks have a deity called Ares? In Kemet, Ahesi means the one who cultivated the savage eye, the wild eye, or the eye of fury. That's what Mahesi means. The one whose eyes are furious, or wild, or savage. The cultivated eye of savagery, or I guess he's a god of war. So Bast and Himari. So Bastet and Himari, or Masisa. His name is Masisa, or his name, you can call him Himari. Himari is this deity, or Masisa, right? Or Mahes. Mahes means the savage eye. Masisa is also similar, and then Mahari or Himari is also similar in that context. He is the lion, the prince. He is the lord of princes. He is called Mashisa, lord of strength, the lord of power, the head of the sovereign of war. So he's the god of war. He's the Egyptian god of war. He who is true beside her, the son who is loyal to his mother, the son of Ta, and he is the son of Sekhmet. So he's not the son of Bastet, but he's the son of Sekhmet. So he is called war, protection, weather, knives, lotuses, and devouring captives. So basically executing captives, killing, war captive, etc. He's the sovereign responsible for all of that. He is associated to some degree uh, with as you see the two cobras on his head, and you see in his hand the two blades, right? So he's the god of war, protection, and the weather. Okay, so there you have it. The city, the university was Terimu, and Perbast. As you can see, the lion is cultivated eyes, um, Hasi Hasisa, right? So the cultivating eyes of Hasisa, literally. Now let's continue. Abode, the abode is Terimu and Perbast, the house of Sekhmet and Bast. His brother or his twin or his duality is the Nefertem, the lotus flower. Mashisa, one who can see in front. The Lord of the slaughter, wielder of the swords or the blades, and the scarlet warrior, the blood god. Mashisa is the son of Ptah and Sekhmet. He is related to Nefertem, son of Sekhmet. Okay, his twin brother. Mashisa fights Ra enemy Apep during the night. Uh, Knife and full hand of lotus flower in connection with Nefertem. Masisa or Himari, the son of Ptah. Okay, joined together in time and space with Mahesi, warrior, martial arts. So this school is the African philosophy for warfare. So it's where Africans discuss warfare, African learn the art of war. So Himari means African art of war or African warfare, right? Or Masisa means African art of war, or Mahesi means the savage eyes, the eye of a warrior, like bloodthirsty eyes, the eye of a martial lord. So it's a warrior martial philosophy, the supreme warrior, for the art of the supreme warrior, the one who is true beside her. He was the son of the creator Ptah and Sekhmet. His sister is the other Ethiopia whose nature is shared. Maesi was a sovereign of war, protector, the weather, as well as knives, etc., devouring, etc. So, um, as you see, right? So, I think I am going to stop now. I'm tired. There's epidemic right here. This is epidemic. So, epidemic, what the Greeks call epidemic, is the lord of plagues, right? He's the god of plagues, war. The type of war plagues that come from war. When there's a war in the land and there's diseases flooding out the land everywhere you turn, civil conflict, he is the lord of that. So the sovereign of the sun, the eye of the creator, maker of the sword, the sharp eye, the sovereign of eternity, the sovereign of joining unity, the rope of connectivity, Sa, the son of Ra. So Ma means lion, or to be right, straight, upright, etc. He's the lion of justice. He is the justice, the spear of truth, the unfailing spear or the sword. He's the unfailing spear or the sword. The sovereign of eternity, the son of Ra, the lion, the goose. Okay, he's called the son of Ra. He is the sovereign of intelligence concerning warfare intelligence. He is the sovereign of consciousness, enlightenment, as it pertains to warfare, diseases, sicknesses. Unity is the Lord of unity, the rope of connectivity, love, marriage, the sovereign of kings, sovereign of strength, courage, power, valor, the Lord of destruction. He's a God of destruction. The slaughter, he's the Lord of slaughtering, massacre. He's the scarlet sovereign, the sovereign of the blades, the sword, etc. So his name is Musa. So he's also called Musa Warat. Okay, Musa Warat. So Musa means, what is Musa means? Mu means, Mu means the essence. Okay, and Sa means the wisdom. So he's called Musa. Musa means the wisdom of the essence, or the essence of wisdom. He is called the essence of great wisdom. So the sovereign of justice, kings, emperors, royalty, aspect, incarnation of Amun, Musa, Weret, nourisher of all mankind, the sovereign of life, Lord of food and plenty. He's Lord of food and plenty. So as you can see, the crown is right on his head. So he does pertain, he's called Musa. So this is where the Europeans get the or the Greeks call Moses, right? So in English, you would call him Moses. His name is great, but in Weret Musa means the great uh, knowledge of the essence. Okay, so he knows, nourisher of all mankind. He knows about sovereign of life, Lord of food and plenty. He is the great man, the sovereign spirit of war, the martial power and military might of Africans. He embodies martial power and military might of Africans. He embodies justice, civilization, conquest, empires. He has a spear made of lightning that shoots victorious energy, power, spirit, might of the. So this is who he represents, and this is his counterpart. The goddess of the moon. Okay, so this is the goddess of the moon, which is his counterpart. She is the Nubia, the original mother of Bastet. She is the Black Panther. This is the Black Panther. Amin Simi. Amin Simi means the Black Panther or the Black Leopard. So she is, as you can see, the crescent moon and the archer sitting there. So, like, all these stories exist. So I'm going to stop because I'm tired. When we come back, I'm going to tell you about Horus. Horus or Horus means the sun, the light, the bright day, the sunlight. Anpu and Wepwawet are his companions. So we are going to go into Anubis. The next chapter we'll talk about Anubis, Anpu, and Wepwawet, the companions of Horus. How Horus embodies the light. Horus is heroic, the heroic nature of African people. So there's not one Horus. People misunderstand and they think there's one Horus. There isn't one Horus. There's many Horus, right? A lot of Horus, right? And we are going to go way into all these things. Let me stop. I'm tired now. Okay. I'm exhausted now. So we're going to stop. I was going to tell you more about Horus. A Horus, what is a Horus? A Horus means heroic. The light represents the light, represents the heaven, the son of heaven. Horus represents the son of heaven. Horus represents the divine. So anyone can be the son of heaven. Anybody can be the son of heaven. Anyone can be a Horus. Now that we establish Horus or heaven, we have Horus right here. Now we have Anpu right here. Then we have Wepwawet right here. We have Nefertem right here. Horus and Nefertem can combine. Okay? Horus embodies victory. Horus embodies victory, the bow and arrow. No deity can use the bow and arrow unless because of Horus. Horus is the Lord of the archery, the bow, Lord, the master of the bow, the Lord of the falcon, the Lord of heaven. So no deity can say, I'm Lord of heaven, unless Horus is added to their title. So Nefertem and Horus join, then you have the Lord of the bow. They can now, like that. Sebek, or Sibaku. Sibaki is a crocodile. Sibaki is the master of war, violence, right? But he cannot fight unless he has Horus. So you join Sibaki and Horus together and you create a more powerful warrior. Victory, since Horus is the Lord of victory, the Lord of heaven. the Lord of the day. You have to join every sovereign with Horus to achieve what you call victory. You have to join them together. So that's why a crocodile can have the head of a hawk. That's why a lion, Nefertem, can have the head of a hawk. They have the head of the hawk because it allows them to join union. That's what it means for the head of the hawk. So that's how come Horus is always with every deity, mean heaven, the sky, the wind. Horus rules all of those things. So if Horus rules the wind, Horus rules the heaven, Horus rules the light, then Nefertum is the Lord of beauty. You combine Nefertum and Horus together. Okay? You have Heru Nefertum. You join Anpu and Heru together. You join everyone to Horus, then you now have a complete system. So when we come back the next time, we're going to talk about Anubis. Who is Anubis? Who is Webwawet? What is Wa'anchiru? Wa'anchiru is the spiritual path of our ancestors, the original spirituality of Africa. In ancient Africa, all of you think, oh, what was the original? What did we call the original spirituality? The first spirituality that existed on planet Earth. What was it called? What was the name that the ancestors practiced? The very first spirituality. Well, the spirituality that was first placed on planet Earth, where the ancestors, the deities themselves established that path, this spirituality is called Wa'anchiru. Wa'anchiru. Wa'anchiru is the original spirituality. And when we come back, I will explain what Wa'anchiru is, the origin, how it became, how is the original spirituality, and how all these stories about, sending a dog to go tell the Chuku, or they send a dog to go talk to Chuku, they send a chameleon to go talk to Chuku, or they send a dog to go talk to Mwari, or they send. You're going to find out how the dog was getting to the divinity, how the dog was getting to the supreme creator. You're going to find all of that in this chapter of Wa'anchiru. Wa'anchiru now explains what the African people are supposed to practice as their spirituality. The confusion, before I go, there is a confusion happening in Africa. There is the priest class. Priest. A priest, what is a priest? A priest is a servant who performs the rituals or the sacrifice. The priests are called Hebru. Hebru. Ru means lion. Ru means lion or guardian. Heb means culture, masquerade, festivities. Okay? Celebration. The Hebrew or Hebrew, the guardians of festivity, culture, etc., are the priest. Their job is they know how to slaughter the animal. That is their way. They slaughter the animal, they do this, they do that, etc. But they are not responsible for anything called spirituality. The Hebrews or the priesthood are not responsible for spirituality. People in Africa today, they are going to the priest and all these people and trying to find out spirituality from them. No, their job has nothing to do with spirituality. They know nothing about spirituality. Their job, the priesthood job, is to perform the sacrifice the correct way for the. That is the role of the priesthood. The second, when the Hebrew, the Heb, the custom ceremonies, the celebrations, they know when those celebrations must be performed. So it's time for us to perform the new year. They're the ones who will tell us to perform the new year. They're the ones who will tell us it's time for masquerade. That is the nature of the priesthood. The priesthood is they're not meant to teach us spirituality. So all this thing you're in Africa telling, oh, the spirituality, that is not spirituality. None of those things are spirituality. You have all been confused. Spirituality in Africa is called Wa'anchiru. Wa'anchiru. That's spirituality. Wa'anchiru, spirituality. It has to do with the chi and Wa. Wa means the one or the great, and then chi, the great chi, right? So to cultivate the great chi or to cultivate, that is different. You don't get that from a priest. A priest cannot tell you those things. The priesthood's job is Hebrew, guardians of the festivals, the ceremonies, the culture. They tell us when we sacrifice, they tell us when the festivals are to be held, but they don't tell you anything more. If you go to the deity and you want to have a child, and they can make us give you the herbs, they perform that role, but they're not meant to tell you spiritual things, spirituality. And this is where Africans have gone astray. They combined the whole thing. Everybody's confused. Their priests are telling you, oh, this is spirituality, that's spirituality. No. The spiritual path is Wa'anchiru. The Hebrew or the Hebrew is the guardian of the culture, festivals, etc. So let's end here. Positive and creation energy to all. The one who comes in peace is always welcome. The one who comes to teach is always welcome. The one who comes to learn is always welcome. Positive and creation energy to all. Power Amiwi, Amhetep, Unini, Neptira, Power Amiwi, Kem Neket Saba, Kem Neket Saba, Neket Saba, Unini, Neptira, Power Amiwi, Gem Neket Sa, Uten Nini, Neptira, Menkutet, Kemati, Sekem, and Sek Uten. Ma'atenta to all, Anken Ubuntu to all, and Madi Sia to all. Special thanks to our sister Abigail. You are honored. I'm very, very grateful that you were here and you listened to the teachings. And please keep coming. Positive and creation energy to all. Share the lectures and do the things that bring more people to the channel, etc. All right.